I just finished the base game of Witcher 3, took about 93 hours to complete it, and holy, it felt great. From all the things people say about this game, I knew that it would feel good, and let's just say this exceeded my expectations. This didn't feel like a simple game, it felt like a 90-hour long journey. Starting from Kaer Morhen to Skellige, the world was so unique and diverse that each nation and every people felt unique. The best thing about this game is immersion. You don't play as Geralt of Rivia, you become Geralt of Rivia. The characters you meet, the bond you form with them, feels real. They feel like your actual friends. They feel real. And don't get me started on the side quest. This has been told many times, but let me tell it again. Some side quests are even better than the main quest. Sometimes you get so lost in the side quests that you forget about the main plot of the game. While the main antagonist, which is the Wild Hunt, is seldomly spoken in the first half of the game, but whenever they are mentioned, you can feel the ominous presence of something you shouldn't take lightly. The decisions to make in some of the quests are so hard that you need to sit back and think for a while before choosing an option. For in some choices, there isn't a good option. Both options are bad. You just have to choose which one according to you is the lesser evil one. Now, I didn't play the first two games in the series, but it didn't feel like that factor held me back from enjoying the game. This game doesn't focus too much on past events. So my journey started in White Orchard. Nothing memorable really happened there apart from the time I went into a bar fight. The first few hours were honestly a bit slow. This isn't my words alone, it is also said by my friends who have played this game. But then you enter Velen, where after progressing a bit, you meet the Baron. The main objective of your journey is to find her adoptive daughter, Ciri. You see, Ciri has elder blood flowing through her veins, which does make her powerful, but it is because of this power that the Wild Hunt is after her. Velen was a great place. The side quest including the Baron and the Crones was the most memorable part. Yes, that was a side quest. I thought that the Crones were a part of the main quest, but no, it was a secondary quest. As for quests, the game has two types of story quests. Primary quest, which is the main story, and secondary quest, which may or may not relate to the main quest. Every corner of the world is packed with content. Secondary quests start with a random NPC asking for help, which leads into a chain of events and hour-long adventures. The side quests have depth to it, so much that they are better than many AAA games' main stories. Apart from the story, the world looks beautiful. The area leading to the Crones had such great landscape that I stopped on my tracks just to admire the view. The atmosphere is so good that while entering the Crones area, my father, who was watching my gameplay, commented that this was a horror game. The environment design is good, but in a very few parts, the terrain is janky and sometimes you get stuck. Then your search for Ciri leads you to Novigrad, which is the biggest city of the game. Walking to the city feels different. It's a type of feeling I am having a hard time describing. It feels very immersive, like you're actually moving through a busy town as compared to the wilderness. A lot of the story and many side quests took place in Novigrad. Here you meet characters like Triss, Zoltan, Roche, Dijkstra, Dandelion. Speaking of Dandelion, whenever you load into the game or a save file or when you travel to a different region, there is a Dandelion narrative which tells what happened in the story. Like a short recap, it is partly unskippable and annoyed me a lot back then, but now after the story is over, while changing regions or loading the game, it doesn't happen. I kinda miss that. When you arrive at Skellige, you feel that every region has its own agenda. The thing I like the most about Skellige is riding through the gorgeous landscape. Speaking of riding mechanics, let me be honest, it isn't perfect and sometimes it feels clanky, but it works. Riding isn't the best experience, but it isn't a negative experience either. However, the landscape of Skellige, the mountains, the forests, they are so gorgeous. Okay, enough about the world. Let's talk about combat. The combat does need some getting used to. You can't get away with just spamming sword attacks. You have to use calculated blows to strike your enemies. The combat is more like a back and forth dance rather than aggressive spamming. You can block attacks. Some enemies can block attacks too. Every Witcher has two swords, one steel sword to defend against humans and other silver sword to attack monsters, because steel isn't effective against monsters. Then there are signs. The game has 5 signs. Though I found myself using Quen and Igni most of the time, there is a use case for all signs. Signs are like magic spells. Quen gives you a barrier. Ignig deals fire damage, Art deals a shockwave damage, Axie is a mind control spell used in combat as well as usable in some dialogues to manipulate people. Then there is Yerden, which slows down enemies and makes some ghost enemies damageable. Those specific ghost enemies can only be damaged inside Yerden, else they are invulnerable. You can also apply oils to your blade. Oils are enhancements to your blade. A specific oil deals more damage to specific types of monsters. You can apply oil to your blade mid-combat. However, in the later stages of the game, when there are many types of enemies and as a result many types of oils, you can turn on auto apply, which is pretty self-explanatory. As I said earlier, there are two types of story quests. Then there are two more types of quests. One is contract. You will find contracts on notice board in various villages. Once you find a contract, you go to the one who issued the contract. You may negotiate with him and then do the deed. It is always a contract on a monster who is causing trouble. You deal with the monster, come back with its head as a trophy and collect your reward. However, there are also sentient monsters, monsters who have a thinking ability and can speak. It is against Geralt's nature to kill sentient monsters. You can give them a chance to explain their deeds and then you can choose to spare them. Keep in mind, however, if you choose to spare them, then you won't get its trophy, which means you don't have a proof of killing the monster, so you may get less or no reward at all. Then there are treasure hunts. Mainly, you get them from collecting a treasure map, which can either be bought from a shopkeeper or maybe a chest in an abandoned building. Some of these treasure hunts will give you Witcher gear, which is the highest level of equipment you can get. They also feel like a part of the adventure rather than extra grinding. You can play the game however you want, but I would recommend to play the side quests along with the main quest as you are leveling up. Like, finish a part of the main quest and go do a side quest. Because if you over level and do a side quest you left earlier, you will get less experience points. For example, if you do a level 13 quest when you are level 29, you will get like 2 or 3 experience points, whereas the usual is like 200 or 300 maybe. When you level up, you gain ability points which you can put into your character skill tree. Skill tree is the character perks section where you gain extra attributes based on the skill you invested in. Now there's the inventory. Technically there is no cap to the limit you can carry in this game. However, there is the weight limit. If you exceed the weight limit, you can't sprint. This did annoy me at times as I had to back and forth to a blacksmith to sell all the armors and swords I picked up from my unexpected encounters. The great story writing also emerges from the fact that each character has distinct attitudes and personalities, while making each one stand out in their own way. Even many NPCs are unique. However, one thing they all have in common is a passive aggression towards our main character because he is a Witcher. Witchers are mutated beings, that is why they are scorned upon. One thing this game has is a minigame called Gwent. It is a card game and has a whole dedicated fan base of its own. Okay, many of you are going to be mad when I say this, but I didn't play a single round of Gwent, apart from the tutorial one. I didn't seem to enjoy Gwent that much. Now, it's true that I didn't give it a full attempt. If you want me to give a full-hearted attempt, then do tell me in the comments. Overall, Witcher 3 is a vast game. Not a game, it's a whole journey. You can't have any distractions while playing this game. In order to enjoy it, shut off all distractions and let yourself get absorbed into this wonderful world. You have to give it an honest attempt, not a half-hearted one, and then you will feel what an amazing game this is. There is so much to talk about this game. The other day, I was telling my friend that the main character of Witcher 4 is going to be a female lead. Then I went on telling that she is the adoptive daughter of the main character of Witcher 3. Then I explained that witches are infertile. I went on explaining the process of being a witcher and why they are hated by the common mass. From that, I went about the various choices in the game, the politics of the game, and all other stuffs. I went on and on about different topics of this game. It was then that I realized how vast the game really is. You can't really summarize it in a few sentences. All in all, there is so much to talk about this game. Okay, so for those of you who haven't played Witcher 3 yet, you might want to click off from this video because this here is my personal experience and the choices I made in this game. So naturally it will contain spoilers. If you are about to click off, then make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It will make a small YouTuber like me very happy. Okay, so the first main choice of the story was on the Baron side quest where I decided to kill the tree spirit which lead to the crone's living. Now the thing which many people might be waiting to hear. Did I choose Triss or Yennefer? To be honest, I didn't get a choice. During the scene where Triss had to flee with the mages, there is a choice where you bid her farewell or ask her to stay. If you ask her to stay, then it triggers Triss's romance. At that time, I didn't ask her to stay because I thought that if I told her to stay, I would be endangering her life as she wasn't safe in Novigrad. So naturally, that locked me out of the option to romance Triss. So that left me with Yennefer, and later I realized that Yennefer is the better choice because Ciri is happier with that choice, and Geralt's first option was always Yennefer. In Skellige, I sided with Sayers. I don't know, I think her name was Sayers, but whatever. Because I sided with her because I thought that it was the most logical thing to do. As a result, she became the Emperor. I got all the possible allies I can recruit for the battle at Kaer Morhen. I did take part in the assassination attempt of Radovid. After that, I sided with Roche because that is the thing Geralt would have done. I got the best ending where Ciri lived and became a Witcher. Anyways, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe and comment your opinion about Witcher 3. See you later in another video.